welcome to the first post on my video blog, How to Transform Conflicts in Your Life. My name is Efrat Wolfson. I'm a conflict transformation facilitator and trainer. I'm originally from Israel, and I'm really excited to share this journey with you. And in today's video log, we're going to be talking about how to stop avoiding conflicts and start engaging with them positively. Now, I just want to say before we start that if there was a world championship in avoiding conflicts, I would probably get a gold medal. I used to avoid conflicts at all costs. I would be terrified that if I had a conflict with someone, that means they wouldn't love me, or that means that we're somehow not connected. And I would just do anything to avoid that conflict. And I remember when I first started working, way back in about 10 years ago, when I started working with Palestinian and Israeli youth, like groups, getting them together for dialogue and conflict transformation processes. At first, I was really terrified. I thought, oh my God, what will happen? They'll start fighting and arguing, and and it'll all fall apart, and they'll go home hating each other. And I was really scared. And fortunately, for me, at this kind of profession, I really had to learn very fast to be comfortable with conflicts, to be able to work with them positively. And so I moved from just trying to make everyone happy and don't rock the boat and, don't touch any of the hard subjects. I moved very quickly to actually embracing the hard moments and recognizing them as the moments where we dive deeper. Without going too much into that, because I love talking about this subject, I want to talk about how you can use 3 simple tips to stop avoiding conflicts and start engaging with them positively in your life. So tip number 1 is this: recognize that conflicts are absolutely normal. That's right. Conflicts are an absolutely normal part of human interactions and relationships. Wherever you see more than one person, there will be a conflict at some point. Or even within one person, there can be a conflict. So recognizing that conflicts are absolutely normal are a really big key to this. Now, this might sound a bit obvious or not much, but think about all the times when you were in conflict with someone and what kind of thoughts were going on in your head. Did you have thoughts like, oh, why is this happening again? Or why is this happening? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with the other person? What's wrong with this picture? Or what's wrong with our family? Why do we have so many conflicts in our family? Or what's wrong with our school? What's wrong with our staff, etc., etc. So all these thoughts of what's wrong with, or I shouldn't have these conflicts anymore after all the years and blah, blah, blah. All these kind of thoughts are shame thoughts that we have around conflicts. So it's a thought that is telling us you're not good enough for some reason. And if we truly recognize that conflicts are absolutely normal, that's a big step to saying goodbye to these shame thoughts and actually being able to engage positively with the conflict. So as a little exercise, think about a conflict that you have in your life and try to recognize, is there a shame thought there? Do you have any kind of thought that says, oh, this shouldn't be happening, or I shouldn't be, or he shouldn't be, or whatever, some kind of a shame thought around that conflict? And then try to imagine yourself in the conflict situation without that thought. So if you were physically unable to think that thought, who would you be in this conflict situation? How would you be different in that conflict situation? So take a little moment to do that exercise. You can even pause the video now if you want, or do it later after the video. Tip number 2 is conflicts are a motor, a catalyst for positive change and growth. What that means is that conflict that comes up can actually start a really amazing change process in your life. If you think about human history for a moment, how many amazing change processes in human history started thanks to a conflict? Probably all of them, at least most of them. So if you think about countries gaining independence, or the women's movements, or the civil rights movements, all these processes started thanks to conflicts coming up, thanks to dealing with the issues and everything, all hell breaking loose. So your life is exactly the same. And when a conflict comes up, this is your opportunity. You can either run and hide, which is also okay, or you can take a look at this conflict that came up and ask yourself, what is actually going on here for me? What am I needing on a deep level in this conflict situation? And how can I meet those needs for myself, regardless of the other person? What kind of life do I want to build for myself? Not how I'm going to do it, just what do I really, really want? So we're going to be talking about this concept of deep needs a lot more in the next video on the blog, so stay tuned. Now, the little exercise you can take from this is, you can pause this video if you want and write down to yourself, how is this conflict contributing to my life? Or how can it contribute to my life? What positive change process can start for me from this conflict, or thanks to this conflict? You might not know the answer yet, but you can just sit with the question for a little bit and write whatever comes up for you. Tip number 3 to stop avoiding conflicts and start engaging with them positively is improve your communication skills. So often we avoid conflicts because we're afraid that we don't actually have the tools, the skills to communicate with the other person effectively or compassionately, or in a way that will bring connection into our life. So we think, oh, I don't really know how to talk to this person, and that makes us avoid the conflict at all costs. Best kind of communication language that I can recommend to study is called nonviolent communication. It's a language that was developed by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg in the 60s and 70s, and you can Google it, you can find books on it, you can find NVC, it's called also NVC, or compassionate communication, or giraffe language. You can Google NVC in your area and usually find people who do NVC trainings in your town or country or wherever, because there are NVC trainers all over the world. And nonviolent communication is a language that is based on the heart, on heart-to-heart communication. And we're going to be talking a lot about it in the weeks to come. I really, really recommend reading about it and getting to know it. Thank you so much for joining me today on this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you liked it and shared it on Facebook and all those other buttons that I'm not sure what they mean. And also, I really invite you to write your comments below this video and share with me, how do you avoid conflict sometimes in your life, and how do you engage with them positively? And if there was any tip that you tried out, and what insights came up for you from that tip. So I would be really happy to read all the comments and respond, and thank you so much again. An opportunity, okay, okay. Alright, the other little piece about this is that, what was the other little piece about this?